Thank you, ma'am, for accepting the invite and coming on the interview.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, Akash. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, ma'am, we will first like to understand how exactly did you land up in Indian Navy? So, what was your motivation to join Indian Navy?
Well, I never in my wildest dream imagined that I would be in Indian Navy, because what you cannot see, what you don't see, you cannot visualize, and what you cannot visualize, you cannot become probably, And my motivation to join Indian Navy was a small incident which happened, not Navy per se. I didn't want to join Navy. A small incident which happened when I was very young, and I was in my village on a summer vacation, and my parents were there. And one fine day, my parents are worried because my uncle refused to share ancestral home with my father, because we were all girls. We were four girls. We were all girl child. So it was seen as a sort of liability, and people isolated my parents, sort of ostracized them. So that was a beginning of everything for me. I mean, I made up my mind that one day I will do something in life, uh, wherein I'll prove that the gender does not matter. If I decide to do something, I can do it. And each gender is equally significant. Man or a woman is equally significant in our world. And subsequently, what happened was then there was some amendments in the constitution, and then girls could inherit paternal property, and so all those changes later happened. But then uh, that was a start point for me, for everything which I have achieved till now. That I didn't want to be dependent. I didn't want to be seen as a liability. I wanted to achieve something so that my parents would be proud of me. And doing something like this, being in the armed forces was something which I saw that would be seen as very prestigious. And so I was an army wing cadet, and I wanted to join army because I could see a olive green uniform, when in the army. Our battalion, CEO of the battalion was an army officer. So I've seen an olive green uniform, but I never saw Navy. I never saw Air Force. Air Force, yes, the NCC uniform I had seen, because there were two wings in my college. Not in my college, but other college. But a few of our friends had joined NCC Air Wing, and so I'd seen these two, but not exact. I mean, Navy, I never knew Navy about anything. But then, as luck would have it, I appeared for the interview, and of course, I went first. I went through Army SSB. I got through, but probably there were only a few vacancies. I could not, I did not get through in the merit probably. And then came this Navy interview, and I made it, and I joined. I mean, it was probably by design. I mean, probably it had to happen for me. I was yes, it had to happen, and it happened.
Okay.
So this was my motivation. This was my background of how I joined Indian Navy. Yes.
Okay. Ma'am, how was your experience in the SSB? So you spoke about you went for Army SSB first and then the Navy. So how was your experience in both the SSB? Which SSB was it, and how did you basically prepare?
Let me tell you one thing, that my first SSB was Navy SSB itself, I think. I think it was Navy SSB only. Yes, I was doing. I had just finished my graduation, and I had we saw this. We used to get newspaper because that was the basic. Because my father used to get newspaper. We were about to complete our college and all. We wanted to get into our dream jobs and all. So my father used to get employment news and all that. So this thing came, and I applied, and I went for my first SSB. In fact, it was Navy only, and I was there. I was screened in. I and then there was conference. I was after the conference. I was out. So that was my first SSB, and then subsequently the Navy, the Army thing happened, which I cleared. And then there was another Army whole time lady officer thing, which I cleared, which was through UPSC, which somehow some incident and I could not join. And then there was this Navy, which I cracked up because I had seen 2 SSBs already. Out of those 2, I had already cleared one, that was Army SSB. So then this Navy thing happened and I cleared, and so it was fantastic. I mean, first thing, what I learned from my first SSB, I'll tell you one thing. We in the Indian culture, we see everyone, those who are elder, as someone, you have to obey, something like that. So when I went for my first SSB, which was Naval SSB, I had girls who were older than me, at least couple of years older than me. I was the youngest, in all the groups. So so I sort of probably that was my biggest lesson that I learned, that when you are a leader, and I was already a leader in my college. I was a student council president, elected student council president in my college. I had represented my battalion, NCC battalion, in Thalsani camp in Delhi. So I was already into that sort of I had already experienced all that leadership role and all that in during school and college. But then somehow or the other, from like I said, because of the background, because of the cultural influence, we always see that if the person is elder, if the person is older than you, you have to respect, you have to obey and all that. So that was my lesson in my first SSB, that the age does not matter, the degree does not matter. If you have to lead, if you have to lead, you have to lead. If you are given that position, you have to just lead. You don't have to, you cannot do, I mean, you cannot get limited by those things, age or gender, so all of that, even rank. So that was my lesson in my first SSB. And then Army of SSB was fantastic. It was fantastic, I will say it. I had great experience there. Met a lot of good girls, good nice talented girls from all across the country. And of course, my experiences in these two helped me in my third SSB, and I fared well. And I already had so much of leadership, leadership experience and experience of SSB, and my own academic background, which helped me, because I believe Navy is all about your academic performance. Not completely, but of course it's a very technical oriented force. And so yes, and so it is, it helps if you have good academic record, especially in the Navy. It definitely helps. So all that together, it helped me. My all that, I mean, I had great credential by the time I was there in the SSB. I had great credential. Only thing, first one, nobody to guide me, and I knew nothing about it. The first generation officer, to be officer, first generation woman, who's going out and trying to achieve so much in life. So achieve something different, I must say. So otherwise, it's not very difficult at all. It's not very SSB is not at all very difficult. You don't have to fake yourself there. You don't have to pretend anything there. You just have to be yourself. And what I was I had shown myself in my first SSB, in my second SSB, in my third SSB, and that helped me. So there was no pretense. I somehow cannot pretend. So whatever I was there. Pretense is very difficult to do. Pretending something is very difficult. Why? Because if you say one thing, you manipulate one thing, then you have to manipulate hundreds of things. So it's always better to be your own self. Show your authentic, true self, so that you don't have you're confident. You're congruent. So incongruence takes lot of effort. इनकॉन्ग्रुएंस में आपने एक चीज ये कही और आप फिर दूसरे चीज में आप पकड़ में आ जाओगे. सो नहीं पकड़ में आने के लिए बहुत ज्यादा एफर्ट मारना पड़ता है, बहुत ज्यादा करना पड़ता है. सो इट्स ऑलवेज advisable, it's always and every time suggested that be yourself, be your authentic self, because सबकी पर्सनालिटी अलग अलग होती है. अभी कुछ ही दिन पहले मैं इंस्टा लाइव कर रही थी एंड आई हैव अ लॉट ऑफ फॉलोअर्स हु आर अपीयरिंग फॉर SSB, and I keep conducting this communication workshop which on every Sunday for 3 hours. And so I was speaking about something, and this gentleman who's going to appear for SSB, he asked me, ma'am, there was this candidate whom the interviewer asked that okay, rocket kaise chalta hai, how does it operate? And he was an art student. So he somehow gave his own answer, which upon which the interviewer laughed. So what do you think? How should we be like him? We should make the interviewer laugh and things like that. So I was like, no, probably he was he was being genuine. He's an art student and he does not know, and he gave some answer के ऐसे खड़ा होता है फिर ऐसे जाता है उस ऐसे करके something he said. So he was genuine, and whatever he knew he said, and the interviewer laughed at him. So it will depend कि आपको क्या question पूछेंगे. आपको, if you're a science background student, you will definitely answer rocket कैसे मिसाइल कैसे काम करता है, the basic at least. And when you answer that, जब वो आप answer करते हैं, कुछ तो आपकी personality पे निर्भर करता है, और कुछ जो है आपके नो हाउ पे निर्भर करता है कि आप क्या जानते हैं उसके बारे में. आपके एकेडमिक बैकग्राउंड इन्फ्लुएंस करेगी कि आप कैसे उसको बता रहे हैं. सो आपको किसी का कॉपी नहीं करना है कि किसी ने ऐसे रेस्पॉन्ड किया इंटरव्यू में तो मैं भी ऐसे रेस्पॉन्ड करूंगी तो मैं भी सेलेक्ट हो जाऊंगा. Because my sister was very inspired to join armed forces, and I had in a way I had trained her, as in I told her what to do, what not to do, and she followed and she got selected.
Okay.
In her first interview itself. Okay.
Mama, about your life in Indian Navy. So how does your one day look like as an ATC officer? Because you told me that you are an air traffic control officer. So one day of your life in terms of routines and roles and responsibility, how does it look like?
One day of my day in of an ATC officer is very exciting. First of all, you get up, you don't know what watch. Of course, you will know, but the watch will not be fixed. It's not that it's a 9 to 5 job. It has a roster, sort of a routine. Probably you will have morning shift, or you may have afternoon shift, or you may have night shift. So accordingly, you have to plan your day. As in, suppose मैंने आज morning में किया, okay? So morning, जिसका morning में है, उसी का night में आएगा. So I am there in the morning for 7-8 hours, and then again, it will be my duty in the night shift. And when there is, less flying, but then when there is more flying, then probably it is the next day evening shift.
Okay.
फिर next day क्या होता है, जब evening shift होता है फिर वो आपकी morning shift आती है. Evening से फिर उसके बाद morning में 6 o'clock, 6:30, एंड देन जब मॉर्निंग में रहता है तो अगर ज्यादा फ्लाइंग नहीं है तो आपकी नाइट में भी आती है, वेयर देयर वुड बी व्हेन देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ फ्लाइंग हैपनिंग, स्पेशली इन जॉइंट यूजर एरोड्रोम, देन वहां पे आपके साथ दूसरे भी ऑफिसर्स रहेंगे. So it is like this. It is cyclic.
Okay.
Yeah, and you do get a week off or week or two off. That too in roster. अगर आपको एक weekend off मिला, Saturday Sunday off मिला, तो अगले बार किसी और को Saturday Sunday off मिलेगा. You understand? But हो सकता है मुझे पूरे महीने में सिर्फ एक ही weekend off मिले.
Okay.
बाकी वीकेंड में आई वुड बी बिजी. बाकी संडेज में मेरा ड्यूटी रह सकता है, सैटरडेज में रह सकता है, नाइट वॉच रह सकता है, कुछ भी हो सकता है. सो दिस इज हाउ इट इज.
Okay, so I understand the role of an ATC officer is quite irregular. कोई specific routine नहीं होगा. But in terms, I also know that the life of an ATC officer is very stressful. So how did you back then manage the stress that comes up?
How did I manage? It was indeed stressful, and especially if you don't have family support, it gets all the more stressful. And add to it, if you are married to an armed forces officer, again it's all the more difficult. And then उसके बाद अगर आपकी फैमिली बच्चा है तो और डिफिकल्ट है, बिकॉज एक तो आपकी पोस्टिंग जरूरी नहीं है कि हर बार आपको एक साथ पोस्ट करेंगे. स्पेशली मेरे इसमें तो ऐसा हुआ. कभी कभी थोड़ा सा एफर्ट हो जाता है जब आपके स्पाउस आपके साथ पोस्टेड नहीं है और आप अपने बच्चे के साथ हैं, बिकॉज अभी तक तो यही है कि मदर हैज टू टेक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ द चाइल्ड. एंड इंस्टिंक्टिवली भी ऐसा ही होता है कि एज अ मदर यू वांट टू टेक केयर ऑफ योर चाइल्ड. सो एंड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन भी उसी को एनकरेज करती है जो 6 मंथ्स के आपके मैटरनिटी 9 मंथ्स के मैटरनिटी बेनिफिट मिलता है. वो सब जो है फीमेल ऑफिसर्स को मिलते हैं, वुमेन ऑफिसर्स को. मेल ऑफिसर्स की जो पैटर्निटी लीव है वो कभी एनकरेज नहीं करते हैं, बिकॉज वो सोसाइटी है, वो बाहर जो है वही अंदर भी है. बेसिकली वो जो सेटअप है, इट्स एन एक्सटेंशन ऑफ आवर सोसाइटी, इंडियन सोसाइटी. एंड इनफैक्ट ये बहुत सारे कंट्रीज में भी ऐसा ही है. सो हर जगह इट इज इवॉल्विंग. सो उस जगह पे एज अ वुमेन ऑफिसर एक चैलेंज हो जाता है कि आप किस तरीके से अपने फैमिली एज इन अपने चिल्ड्रन को, अपने बच्चों को देखें और अपने रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी को भी पूरी तरीके से 100% से निभाएं, किसी चूक के बिना. बिकॉज इसमें आप कोई चूक नहीं कर सकते हैं, इसमें कोई इरिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी की कोई स्कोप नहीं. आप एक 9 to 5 जॉब, ऑफिस जॉब नहीं है जहाँ पे आप फाइल वर्क कर रहे हैं, जहाँ पे एक स्पेलिंग मिस्टेक हो गई तो चल जाएगा, आप उसको करेक्शन कर सकते हैं. यहाँ पे एटीसी में आप नहीं कर सकते हैं. आपको बिल्कुल 100% होना ही होना है वहाँ पे प्रेजेंट, मेंटली एंड ऑफ कोर्स फिजिकली. So,
okay, ma'am, will you be able to just briefly tell us कि होता क्या है ATC के अंदर? What do you exactly do?
So what we do in ATC is we give traffic information to aircraft. We give them landing and takeoff clearances. Cleared for takeoff, clear to land. हम ही बोलते हैं ATC officers. जब एयरक्राफ्ट आपने ट्रैवल किया होगा, एयरक्राफ्ट जब लैंड करता है वो ऐसे ही नहीं जाके लैंड हो जाता है. एटीसी ऑफिसर्स उनको क्लियरेंस देते हैं, उनको पहले ट्रैफिक इन्फॉर्मेशन देते हैं कि सीक्वेंस बताते हैं कि आप इस सीक्वेंस में लैंड करेंगे. आपके पहले एयर इंडिया एयरक्राफ्ट है, अगर स्पाइस जेट पीछे है तो आपके पहले एयर इंडिया है, और 15 मिनट्स अपार्ट है या 10 मिनट्स या 5 मिनट्स अपार्ट है. टाइम बताते हैं, डिस्टेंस बताते हैं, लेवल बताते हैं किस लेवल पे है. ठीक है. So air traffic control. So if you can, the name itself suggests air traffic control करते हैं. जो एयर में ट्रैफिक है उसे कंट्रोल करते हैं. पायलट्स को डायरेक्शन देते हैं, ठीक है, एडवाइस देते हैं, वेदर रिपोर्ट्स देते हैं. बेसिकली हर वो काम जिससे फ्लाइट सेफ्टी, जो सेफ ऑपरेशन ये हो, जिससे सेफ ऑपरेशन हो, उस हर चीज को एटीसी ऑफिसर करता है अपने स्टाफ के जरिए और खुद जो है डायरेक्ट पायलट के साथ बात करके. जैसे मैं अभी इस तरह से ईयरफोन लगाया है वैसा ही हेडसेट होता है और उसमें माइक्रोफोन भी होता है. सो उसमें बोलना भी बोलते हैं, और एक फ्रीक्वेंसी, पर्टिकुलर फ्रीक्वेंसी होती है, उस फ्रीक्वेंसी पे ट्यून इन करना होता है। पायलट को भी पता होता है कि इस एयरपोर्ट पे लैंड करना है तो इस फ्रीक्वेंसी में ट्यून इन करना है। उस फ्रीक्वेंसी में ट्यून इन करते हैं, कुछ 50 माइल्स का रेंज होगा, 100 माइल्स का रेंज होगा, उसमें ट्यून इन करेंगे। और एयर ट्रैफिक कंट्रोल ऑफिसर उस अपने एरिया ईयर मार्क्ड होता है उस एयरपोर्ट का, उस एरोड्रोम का, उस पूरे एरिया का 100 माइल्स हो सकता है या 200 माइल्स हो सकता है। उस पूरे एरिया का जो ट्रैफिक है वो इंफॉर्मेशन एक एटीसी ऑफिसर को पता होता है, बिकॉज वो रेडार में देखते हैं। रेडार ऑपरेशन, रेडार में पूरा सब कुछ पता चलता है कि कौन सा एयरक्राफ्ट कहाँ पे है। तो रेडार में उनका पोजीशन देखते हैं, उनसे बात करके पूछते हैं, और ये सारी इंफॉर्मेशन एक दूसरे को देके सीक्वेंस करते हैं, लैंडिंग कराते हैं, टेक ऑफ देते हैं, ऑल दीज थिंग्स। और ग्राउंड में भी उनकी जो सेफ्टी इंश्योर करते हैं कि कहीं कोई ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन तो नहीं है, कोई बर्ड तो नहीं है, कोई कोई व्हीकल क्रॉसिंग पाथ में कोई व्हीकल तो नहीं है ना। तो ये सारी चीजें एटीसी ऑफिसर देखते हैं। और अगर अगर बहुत ज्यादा अगर लाइट वगैरह, जो अगर नाइट में लैंडिंग कर रहे हैं तो लाइटिंग जो एयरफील्ड की लाइटिंग है वो अप्रोप्रिएट होनी चाहिए, तभी एयरक्राफ्ट जो है। और उसमें भी एक कोडिंग सॉर्ट ऑफ अ थिंग होता है, जो लाइटिंग होती है जो रात में एक उसमें बना होता है, और सारे सारे पायलट्स को पता होता है कि ये एयरपोर्ट, अदरवाइज पता कैसे चलेगा रात में कि ये एक एयरफील्ड है, यहाँ पे लैंड करना है। सो उसको देखने के लिए एटीसी के ऊपर लाइट होती है, और एयरफील्ड भी एक पर्टिकुलर तरीके से लाइट होता है कि पता चल जाता है यहाँ पे लैंड करना है, विजुअली। अगर हाँ, सो विजुअल और दोनों तरीके के फ्लाइट्स होते हैं। जो विजुअली देखते हैं, जैसे हेलीकॉप्टर्स आंखों से देख के फ्लाई करते हैं कि सामने कुछ है कि नहीं। लेकिन जो पैसेंजर एयरक्राफ्ट हैं, ठीक है, जैसे एयर इंडिया हो गया या स्पाइस जेट हो गया या कोई भी हो गया, वो इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स पे रिलाई करते हैं, और वो इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स पे रिलाई करते हैं, बट फिर भी उन्हें इंफॉर्मेशन जो है, काफी कुछ ट्रैफिक इंफॉर्मेशन वगैरह, वेदर रिपोर्ट्स वगैरह, वो एटीसी से मिलता है। ठीक है, एटीसी से वो एटीसी के ऊपर रिलाई करते हैं सेफ ऑपरेशन के लिए। सो ये है पूरी की पूरा ड्यूटी एटीसी ऑफिसर्स का।
ओके, गॉट इट।
सो ये आर्म्ड फोर्सेस में ये है कि आप इतना एटीसी की ड्यूटी करते हैं, बट आपको कभी कभी ये भी होता है कि आपको दूसरी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी भी मिल जाती है जो आपके एटीसी से रिलेटेड नहीं है, एविएशन से रिलेटेड नहीं है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मुझे मेस ऑफिसर बना दिया गया था एक बार। सो ऐसी रिस्पॉन्स जो मेरे से कोई जिसका कोई रिलेशन नहीं था, विशाखापट्टनम में ये था, और ना मैंने कभी उसकी स्टडी की है कॉमर्स की, और ना मुझे मतलब किसी ने सिखाया, मतलब एकदम से बोल दिया कि टेक ओवर कर लो, आपको ये बनना है, आपको मतलब एक मेस इंचार्ज की ड्यूटी करनी है। बिकॉज उसमें आपको आपको एक्सपेंसेस और ये सारी चीजें, बैलेंस शीट वगैरह बनाना होता है। अब जो एक साइंस स्टूडेंट है उसको वो नहीं पता है, बट आपको किसी भी तरीके से आपके कमांडिंग ऑफिसर चाह रहे हैं तो आपको वो करना पड़ेगा।
Okay.
तो ये एक चीज आर्म्ड फोर्सेस में ये एटीसी ऑफिसर्स को करना पड़ता है, जो मेरे ख्याल से सिविल एटीसी ऑफिसर्स को शायद ये ऐसी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी नहीं करनी पड़ेगी। बट एटीसी जो आर्म्ड फोर्सेस में है वो कुछ भी कर सकते हैं अपने जो स्पेशलाइज्ड फील्ड के अलावा, वो ये भी करते हैं।
Okay.
तो मैंने तो किया है।
Okay. So, ma'am, so coming back to the question, how was your life in the academy? So what were the various lessons that you learned, or anything experience that you want to share from the academy?
Funny moments and lot of moments, lot of ups and downs. But now when I look back, I see that if I went through that situation, if I could do all of that, I can do anything in life. So that's how strong it has made me today. So it was a great learning. It was difficult then, but it was great learning experience. So in particular, I would say that we used to have ragda as in punishments. We used to have patti parade. We used to have restriction runs. We used to have lot of things. So one fine day, what happened is I told I just said that it's fun to get punishment. And I whole evening I was under punishment only. So it's fun, and every time, you don't get time to eat, you're trotting your way up to the mess, where you get probably 3 4 5 minutes, and you trot your way back uh, to your room and change quickly, and then do something else, stand there for something else, for next activity. So you hardly get any time to think there, you know and yeah, so it was academy phase was good. It was good.
Okay. Ma'am, if I have to ask you three life lessons that you learned from Indian Navy, which you currently use. So three life lessons which you would like to share.
From the Indian Navy, of course, uh, adaptability. Adaptability is a very important factor, very important life skill, I will say, that I have learned, because unless and until you are adaptable, you will not be able to sustain this kind of life where every now and then you're getting transferred, where there would be situations where you have to leave behind your family, and just service comes first. Just look for how you can do your duty 100%. uh, and discipline is one, punctuality is one, determination, strong willpower. All of these things which I have got from my training from the Navy has made me so strong that I can stand anything in life.
Hmm.
Yes. And of course, a lot of opportunities which Navy gave me. For example, sea swimming, for example, skydiving. All of it made me come face to face with my fears, and facing those fears, going through those tough things, extreme things, has made me strong. It has made it was a rich experience, I will say. If I had served for 12 years, it was like every year was one full year of experience, rich experiences, I will say.
Hmm.
So 12 full years of awesome experiences, different kinds of experiences, some bad, some good, but everything made me the individual that I am today. Everything which I went through. Yes.
Got it.
So I don't look back and say that was bad. That interaction was bad. Whatever happened was bad. I don't look. Whatever happened, I have come out from it, and I have become a better individual today. I've learned the lessons, and I'm a new me today. As I'm sitting here today, I'm a new person. Tomorrow I'll be even better. So yes, Navy has made me what I am today. I'm so proud of this fact that my training in the NCC and my training in the Indian Armed Forces in the Navy has made me so strong that I can. I really can. I can really withstand anything in life. It has made me more resilient.
Got it.
So thank you. I always thank God that wherever I am today, it's all because of NCC, and all because of Navy.
Okay. Ma'am, I know that after you left Indian Navy, you also participated in a lot of beauty pageants. Then you're also an entrepreneur, motivational speaker. So I just wanted to know what keeps you motivated to do different kinds of things and still achieve a lot of things. What's your basic
Why
motivation, Mantra?
why I do different things is because I want to. I'm that kind of a person. I learned it now recently that there are three kinds of people. Um, you know, I do a lot of study because I teach a lot of communication skills. So while I was learning, I learned that there are three kinds of people. One people, visual type people who learn through lots of visual images and all that. They want to see and learn. Another kind of people are auditory type who listen to anything, and they will say, "Okay, tell me what happened." their language would be like this, or the visual person will say, okay, show me. But I could make out that of all my past experiences and the way I have taken my life so far, I'm a kinesthetic kind of an individual, which means that I want to experience, go out there and experience things, and then learn my lessons. So I did not know all this, okay. And I've always been like this. I just go, I participate, and I learn.
Okay.
I,
So
I
basically,
fail or I fail or I win, but I learn, and I like that experience. I love that experience. Whether I fail or I win,
got
for
it.
me it's making me a different person. I enjoy that process.
Got it.
So
Ma'am,
that's my idea behind participating in a lot of things, because I wanted to experience different dimension of my personality after I finished my tenure stint in the armed forces for 12 years. I wanted to experience a person a woman who can wear stilettos, who can wear a gown and a crown on my head, mm, than boots and ceremonial uniforms and peaked cap and march on the parade. So I wanted to feel that contrast, to experience that contrast, and that was my intention and motivation. Also, I learned a lot. I became part of lot of social initiative. I worked for handicapped children, blind children, and cancer patients. So it is a very enriching experience, very fulfilling, in fact, meeting a lot of women, talented women from all across the world, going there and participating in another country amongst 150 women from all across the world, and coming out with this title called Mrs. India Worldwide Pride of Nation was in itself something awesome, something once in a lifetime experience for me.
also looking at the journey that you have, I feel that there are basically three kinds of people, like followers, leader, and explorers. You come under the explorer category because followers will do the regular thing, leaders will basically manage these followers, but you're kind of an explorer.
Okay. Yeah. I'll tell you how I lead. How I lead is, first I go experience things, and then when I've experienced things, I can lead. Now I've learned so much through my experiences in Navy, NCC, through my experiences in the armed forces, that I'm mentoring young students, professionals, corporate employees. I'm mentoring them because of whatever I've gone through up till now, including my participation in beauty pageant, and from my experience of taking my son around when he was only an infant, from my experiences, so many other of being a mother itself, from my experiences as as a speaker, as a professional speaker. So all of it makes me a better person, and a complete person. It gives me an all round sort of a personality, and and therefore I would know, and I can lead people there. I lead women especially. So yeah, I'm an explorer, but after I explore, I experience, I lead. So yeah, so my thing is that influence, inspire, and lead.
Got it.
So by experiencing, I try and influence, I inspire, and then I lead. That's what this is how I define myself.
Okay. Ma'am, my last question to you would be, what will be your tips for somebody who is an SSB aspirant who wants to join armed forces? Because we know there are a lot of people who try for SSB and do not make it. They continuously face failure. So what is your tips for them?
My tip for armed forces aspirant is that जरूरी नहीं है कि आप जो है आर्म फोर्सेस बैकग्राउंड से आए. नंबर वन, ये बिलीफ अपने दिमाग से निकाल दीजिए. ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है, बिकॉज आई एम अ प्रूफ. आई एम अ फर्स्ट जनरेशन ऑफिसर. इनफैक्ट मेरे पूरे कम्युनिटी में कोई नहीं है किसी भी कैपेसिटी में, कोई जवान भी नहीं. मतलब मैंने तो नहीं देखा, मतलब अभी तक मेरे क्लोज सराउंडिंग में कोई नहीं है, मेरे रिलेटिव में कोई नहीं है. सो आई एम अ फर्स्ट जनरेशन ऑफिसर. सो अगर मैं कर सकती हूँ तो आप भी कर सकते हो. बट कैसे कर सकते हो, आपको एटलीस्ट पता होना चाहिए कि आप फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आप को ये कोई फोर्स नहीं करना चाहिए कि आप ये करिए, कि आपको यहाँ जाना है. ये आपको अंदर से आना चाहिए कि मुझे, ये मेरा ड्रीम है, ये मेरा एस्पिरेशन है. और जब आपको पता चला, आप बहुत ही कन्विंस हो जाएंगे, आपको आपका जो वाई हो जाएगा क्लियर, व्हाई यू वांट टू जॉइन आर्म्ड फोर्सेस. मेरे लिए ये था बिकॉज वो मेरा ड्रीम है, यूनिफॉर्म पहना मेरा ड्रीम है. बिकॉज मुझे मुझे कुछ करना था जिससे मेरे पेरेंट्स प्राउड फील कर सके. मैं कुछ कंट्री के लिए करना चाहती थी, और जो बहुत ही प्रेस्टिजियस चीज है, तो मैं ऐसा कुछ करना चाहती थी. तो आपके वाई क्या है, आपका वाई क्लियर होना चाहिए. जब वाई क्लियर है तो आप हर वो चीज, हर वो एफर्ट डाल देंगे जिससे आप एकदम, आपको वो चीज उस डायरेक्शन में आपको वो लेके जाएगा. वो आपको मिलके ही रहेगा अगर आप इतना, आपका क्लैरिटी है. मेरे अंदर वो क्लैरिटी थी, मुझे पता था कि वो मुझे चाहिए. और मैं बहुत ही सिंसियरिटी, डेडिकेशन, डिटर्मिनेशन और स्ट्रॉन्ग विल पावर के साथ मैंने अपने आप को प्रिपेयर किया था खुद से. बहुत ही हम्बल बैकग्राउंड से आके भी मैंने अपने आप को प्रिपेयर करके मैंने उस समय क्लियर किया था. और तो ये है कि आप पता कर लीजिए, रिसोर्सेज तो बहुत है. जैसे अभी आप मेरे से बात कर रहे हैं, मेरे पास ऐसा नहीं था कोई अपॉर्चुनिटी. हमारे जो एनसीसी के ऑफिसर थे, हम ऐसे अप्रोच नहीं कर सकते कि सर हमें बताइए एसएसबी, हम नहीं करते थे, नहीं हो सकता था. तो हमें ऐसा कोई गाइडेंस नहीं थी जैसे अभी अवेलेबल है. सोशल मीडिया पे इतने सारे ऑफिसर्स हैं, रिटायर्ड ऑफिसर्स, वेटरन्स जो गाइड करते हैं, और जो आपसे बातें करते हैं, आपको सही चीजें बताते हैं. ये सोशल मीडिया हो गया. और आपको पता है कि एग्जाम्स में, टेस्ट में क्या क्या चीजें एक्सपेक्टेड हैं, क्या क्या चीजें हैं. टैट वैट, साइकोलॉजिकल टेस्ट, स्क्रीनिंग टेस्ट, ग्रुप टास्क एंड ऑल दैट. और आपको 3 एसेस आपको एसेस करते हैं हर तरीके से. तो आपको जब इंटरव्यूअर हो गए, ये आपको जब ये सारी चीजें पता है, तो आप अकॉर्डिंगली आपको प्रिपेयर करने में बिल्कुल भी कोई ज्यादा एफर्ट नहीं लगेगा. वो इनफैक्ट आई टेल यू, जब मैं एसएसबी की अपनी तैयारी कर रही थी, खुद से कर रही थी, मतलब जैसे अगर मुझे वैट की तैयारी मैंने खुद को अपने अपने वॉच टाइमर लगा के खुद किया. उस टाइम पे फोन था या नहीं था, शायद फोन नहीं था, शायद वो वाला घड़ी मेरे पास था उस टाइम, अलार्म जिसमें होता था. सो ऐसा कुछ मेरी मेरी वॉच, आई एम सॉरी, मेरी जो वॉच थी, मुझे जो मिली थी, वो भी मुझे लगता था प्रिविलेज है. वो वॉच से मैं देखती थी कि हाँ इतना टाइम हो गया, इतने टाइम में मुझे खत्म करना है. तो उस तरीके का प्रिपरेशन जब मैं कर सकती हूँ उतने कम रिसोर्सेज में, 15-20 साल पहले, तो मेरे ख्याल से अभी के लोग जो हैं बहुत लकी हैं, और ज्यादा एफर्ट, ज्यादा स्ट्रेस नहीं लेना पड़ता है. और उस ग्रैटिट्यूड के साथ अपने आप को प्रिपेयर करिए, सारे रिसोर्सेज को एक्सप्लॉइट करिए, यूज करिए उसे अपने आप को वहां तक पहुंचाने के लिए.
It was really nice talking to you, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks a lot for your time, ma'am. Jai Hind.
My pleasure. Thank you, Akash. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah.
Bye.
Jai Hind, ma'am.
Jai Hind. Jai Hind.